Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time stopping by, my name's Heather. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a very sensitive subject, a very important subject, and that is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. So September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. There's not a whole lot that is ever spoken about ovarian cancer. So I like to stress that not all cancers are pink. A lot of research has gone to so many cancers that there is not enough available for ovarian cancer. So I wanted to share with you some of the facts about that. I'm also going to give you some websites down in the description box below that you can go check out for yourself. But I wanted to share some things with you and how this has personally affected our family. So the very first thing I wanted to share with you, that 80% of all women diagnosed with ovarian cancer is diagnosed in the advanced stages, which means that their prognosis is typically not the greatest. It's harder to treat. It usually means that it has spread past the ovaries into the lymph nodes, the uterus, and sometimes possibly up to the brain by the time there's even a detection that they even have ovarian cancer. Those monthly pap smears are really not enough. Monthly? We don't get those monthly. Those yearly pap smears are not enough to give you the data, the lab testing that you need to actually confirm whether you have ovarian cancer or not. So that leads me to the next horrifying fact. This year alone, this horrible disease will take more than 14,000 lives. 14,000. And that is because there's simply not enough testing. Not enough testing, and then a lot of times we will look at those symptoms and mask them as something else, because sometimes it is frequent urination, sometimes it's lower back pain, sometimes there are no symptoms at all. But again, sometimes we mask those symptoms as other things and we don't get treated in time. Not all of that falls on our shoulders because there is not accurate testing to catch it usually in earlier stages. The National Ovarian Cancer Coalition is a great online source to research and learn the facts and see photos that you can actually share on social media along with the hashtag #KnowOvarian, K-N-O-W, Ovarian. And it's just very important to spread the awareness because, you know, this could be our mothers, our sisters, our best friends, or it could be us. So in case you're wondering, there are some things that you can do to push toward the fight of ovarian cancer to save lives. The very first thing you can do is put your money toward the research, and that is by donating to a reputable ovarian cancer research resource, and I will link a few down below that I have found to be very good. You can also sign up to do a virtual run between now and September 30th, and there are also links online to do that through the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. Oh my gosh, that's a lot to remember to say. The next thing you do is host a fundraiser. You could do a bake sale, you could do anything. If this is like making a donation is too much on your plate, then you can also just rally your friends together, do a bake sale. If you are a sales rep of any kind, whether you do like Jamboree or Young Living or anything like that, you could host a fundraiser party where you host a party where you donate your proceeds or a portion of your proceeds to cancer research for ovarian cancer. So those are a couple of things that you could do. Another thing you can do is spread the word by word of mouth. Talk to your friends. Remind your friends, your moms, your sisters, your girlfriends to get their yearly exams. And if something is not right, bug your doctors until they do appropriate testing, because sometimes it takes a lot of digging to find the answers. And I say that, and I will explain that to you in just a little bit, what I mean by that. And again, the very last thing that you could do is to get your yearly exams. Don't skimp on those, don't forget. Remind yourself, put it on a planner, put it in your calendar, but make sure that you do not skip those exams, because you feel fine doesn't mean that you are fine. And I know that sounds scary, and I'm not trying to throw a scare factor at you, but it is a very real disease and it is a very scary disease. So I just wanted to bring some awareness to you guys today. This cause is very near and dear to my heart. I'd like to share a personal story with you, and this was kind of the reason I was very nervous about even sharing this with you guys, is because it's been a tough summer. I'm just gonna put it that way. If you saw my beauty box swap, I had mentioned how winded I was, how very tired I was, that I had not felt good in a while, and there's a reason for that. That is because just 2 weeks prior, I had finished a very very aggressive round of chemotherapy. June 15th, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I'm gonna try to make it through without losing it. But way back in the springtime, it might have been April or May, when we all went on a family hike to Riverwalk here in our local town. The very next day, I ended up in the emergency room thinking that I was having an appendicitis attack. I thought my appendix was about to rupture. So I go to the emergency room and they did a CT scan, and they proceeded to tell me that I had a very massive adult mature teratoma on my ovary, a dermoid cyst, and it was actually basically the size of a baby, and it was pushing my uterus and everything over to the side, which is why I was having so much abdominal pain on the right side. So of course that had to come out, and I'm 42 years old. I'm not having more children. We had decided that years ago, so we would not be having more children, and due to my female monthly issues, I'll just be blunt, had gotten progressively worse. So I said, let's just take out everything, let's be done with it. While you're in there, let's do it. I don't have to address it again. And it was fine. So I had my surgery on June 2nd. At this point, I had had a uterine biopsy, which came back cancer-free. And then when I went for my 2-week post-op hysterectomy checkup, they had told me, I hate to tell you this, but you do have ovarian cancer. The good news is that it is stage 1, C1, which means that never happens. That is very rare to happen. But then came the kicker. The type of cancer that my teratoma decided to grow is a very rare and very aggressive type of cancer. It's a cancer that's typically found in your colon, so it's not anything that they usually find in the ovary, but because our ovaries produce human beings, they have the tendency and the ability to create any kind of cells that your body could possibly make. So mine decided to grow a very rare ovarian cancer, colon cancer in my ovary, if you will, and I will leave the name of it here because I'm not even going to try to butcher that. But yes, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and as you can imagine, it threw my family for a loop, which is why I've kind of off and on kind of just not on social media as much as I used to be. It's also why I'm only posting videos once a week, because knowing I was going to go into this, I posted and I filmed like several videos, and then I just kind of wanted to spread them out in case I was not able to film. I didn't know what this journey would lead. I didn't know how I would feel, and it turns out I'm glad that I filmed those, because I have felt, for lack of better words, like death. The type of chemotherapy that my oncologist has prescribed for me is very, very toxic. I'm on 3. I'm not on 1 chemo, which is kind of typical for everybody. I'm not on a 30-minute regimen. I'm on 3 chemos, 5 days a week, or 6 hours each day. So I don't know why I needed to do all that, but it's so intense, and I know I'm smiling right now because I'm having a good day, and I'm trying not to cry, but I never realized going into this, because my uncle had colon cancer. He had a 30-minute infusion. He drove himself. He was fine. He never lost his hair. And I thought, I'm going to be great. I know other people. They've had cancer of different types. They've had chemo. They've done fine. Heather has felt like death. So which is another reason that I want to tell you guys this. The treatment for ovarian cancer and testicular cancer, which, let's just be like equal with the boys here, let's check your berries, because September is also testicular cancer awareness, all reproductive cancer awareness month as well. So the regimen for that is way more intense than so many other therapies. So what I'm on is a BEP chemo, which is bleomycin, cisplatin, and etoposide. Now, these are so harsh and so toxic that Lance Armstrong refused to take bleomycin because it is so toxic to your lungs. And I am on that, which is kind of why I'm raspy. It's why I'm winded. At this point, all blood work is okay. I'm not having any issues. It can also cause damage to your liver. It can also cause damage to your kidneys. I am monitored very closely, but those closest to me could tell you I have looked like death, I have felt like death, and I can honestly say it is the hardest thing I've ever done and probably will ever do within my own self. So I will backtrack just a little bit. I did have the hysterectomy, so the tumor was removed, but because they nicked my ovary and because it was such a rare and aggressive cancer, that's why I do have to have chemo. I am getting ready to take my 3rd round. I just had my 2nd round 2 weeks ago, and I'm still very much struggling from that. I have had heart issues since then. I have been very much tachycardia, and that's where your heart rate is over 100 at rest. My heart rate has been up to 143 just laying in the bed, and this last round I was knocked on my butt so hard that I couldn't get out of bed for 6 days. So it has been very, very hard, and that's why I want to stress the importance for you to make sure you're screened, make sure if you feel any symptoms, and if you just feel like something's not right and you just want to check, tell your doctors and push. And if he's not listening or if she's not listening, then find someone else who will, because this is not fun. I have honestly been through hell and back, and I know that's probably a harsh way to put this, but I really have. And I don't wish that on anyone, and I don't want any of you to go through that. If there's a side effect to be had, I've had it. I've had allergic reactions. I have been short of breath where they've had to shut my chemo off and give me medication. I am on 3 very high-powered nausea medications, and I'm on so much that's why my face is really bloated right now, because of the steroids and all of the medications that I'm on. The end is in sight and the glass is half full. I do have a good prognosis because this is a very rare cancer that I have had, whatever you want to call it. I say had because they removed it. I just want to let you guys know, I mean, it's very horrific, extremely horrific for your body to go through such an intense regimen. They would never give this to someone who was elderly. The only reason the doctor said they're giving it to me is because of my age and because I am in good health. But I will tell you, it's not easy. It is very, very hard. I remember my very first week in treatment. There were a couple of mornings I was so weak I don't remember even getting there. I don't know how I got up to the 4th floor where I need to go for those infusions. I just don't remember. I remember like a praise and worship song coming on in the car because Damon has been home to take me. And I just remember there like closing my eyes and like trying to mouth the words and like drool coming out of my mouth. That's how bad it was my very first week. The recovery weeks were not as bad, but my blood count did drop so far down that I had to skip a week. And then like this week should be my last week, but it had to be pushed out. So I've had my 2nd round of treatment, which was also so bad. It's like every round has its different side effects. You have different things that you go through. Your recoveries are a little bit different, just like the whole thing is different, because as you're going through it, it builds in your system. So this past time I had allergic reaction where they actually had to stop my treatment and give me Benadryl and steroids, and then like waited to restart to make sure that my vitals were okay because I was not breathing very well. So I went through that, and then by the Wednesday of that week, like I said, I go all 5 days, 6 hours each treatment. By that Wednesday, I was severely nauseous, which I didn't have really much nausea the first round. But I was so nauseous that like every day that I would get into the infusion chair, they would just immediately give me more anti-nausea medication, and I would sleep for a couple of hours. This recovery was a little bit harder. Like I said, it builds in your system, so I couldn't get out of bed for 6 days. I had to get a shot of Neulasta, which causes bone pain, to help build your white blood cells, and it did. Mine are actually like through the roof right now, but I'm still really, really susceptible to infection. So I really have not been able to leave my house since the last week of July. I'm either home or I'm there. I haven't been able to go to the stores. I haven't been able to take Michaela to therapy. I haven't been able to do really anything. Damon has been all hands on deck. He has done all of the shopping, the cooking, the cleaning, because I physically have not been able. The fatigue and the weakness is very bad. I have tremors in my hands. I've had neuropathy in my hands and feet where I can't really feel them. I almost fell earlier today because my right foot went numb and I went to bend over and I just couldn't feel anything, and I almost like head dived into the kitchen. So it's been very, very rough. And another thing that it does that affected me more in my first round was that it slows your digestive tract down. Anything that has a mucus-based production, anything that produces cells rapidly, it shuts it down because it's trying to attack any cells that might be bad, but it also attacks the good ones as well. I'm sure you guys already know that. So it shut down my digestive system. So anytime I would eat anything, like right here, I would feel like a terrible expansion, almost like the worst indigestion of your life and the stomach flu of your life. It felt like something metal or a brick was sitting in your stomach and just slowly pushing and turning, and it would do that for 5 hours straight. And I would be drenched in sweat so badly that I would have to change clothes. And like I said, I don't wish that on anyone. And the only thing that kept coming to my mind is this how it feels when someone has a detox from a drug addiction? Because it felt so bad and I felt like I was dying. My heart went out to those people who suffer addiction, because I'm like, if this is what it feels like for them, you know, I would never touch drugs again in my life, because this is pure hell. And like I said, it's the most painful and horrible thing I have ever personally been through. I went into this thinking, I'm gonna be great, everything's gonna be fine. Oh no, it's not great, it's not fine, it's not a laughing matter, it's not fun. So I'm due Monday, which you will be watching this, and I will be in chemo while you're watching. So starting my final week, I'll be ringing my bell on Friday, prayerfully, and I'll be done with this round. I will have to have another PET scan, and if we get an all clear from that, I will not need to take any more chemo. But as far as this regimen, I am on 3 rounds because it is so bad and so toxic. They only give you 3 rounds of it. Some people can get 6 rounds or 12 rounds or even more of other chemos. This is like, no, 3 and done. Yeah, also have chemo brain, so this is why I'm just like blinking every little bit, and I do apologize. There are some perks, I will tell you. I have not had to shave my legs or under my arms in 5 weeks. Also, the elephant in the room is I have no hair. We actually shaved my head as it started falling out. It started falling out my 2nd recovery week, so I had chemo 1 week and then you have 2 recovery weeks. So on my 2nd recovery week, when I was about to go in my actual 2nd treatment, it had started falling out, and it was falling out to like right about here in the middle of the night, and it was like matted and knotted. So when I was pulling it out, like I lost it. Like I knew I had already got wigs ahead of time. I have this one and I have a really long one. Like I knew it was coming because they told me that was a side effect. My nails are kind of right now, but we knew it was gonna happen. But the minute when it started coming out, I knew, because it was like normally like brushing your hair and you get a little bit in your brush and it was okay. 2 days later, I went to brush it when it was like all matted in, and there was a chunk this big that came out. I lost it because I was kind of weak still, and I was sitting on the couch when I was doing it, and Damon saw me and he immediately like came to me and he was like, this is temporary, it's gonna be okay. I was like, I know. I'm like just bawling and just brushing and bawling and brushing, and that was on a Thursday. And Friday I woke up and I said, I can't take this anymore, we're gonna shave my head. So we got up like at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. to shave my head, and we laughed so hard because my hair was still down to my shoulders. And I said, well, I don't want to tear up your clippers, so I pulled up my bangs and just cut them. Like I cried about that because like I honestly have always loved my hair. I know that sounds really vain and stuck up or whatever, but I really have always loved it. I've taken care of it, and that hurt so bad. But once we got the clippers out, we were laughing so hard. There was a moment where I looked like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, like it was sticking out everywhere. So it was a truly positive experience. my biggest fear was worrying about how Michaela would respond to it, and she laughed. She laughed at my bald head, and she laughs at my wig caps, like, not wig caps, but she laughs at the caps that I wear. And then one minute mommy's got hair, and one minute she doesn't, and one minute she's got her head covered, and one minute she's bald, and she just, like, she has laughed through this entire experience, and it's made my heart feel happy because I worried about her and her reactions, and I've tried to answer questions that I think that she would ask as best as possible. But we are kind of on the upswing of things. I am extremely exhausted. Like, exhaustion's not a word. I used to think that having thyroid disease, I was really tired, or, you know, not getting enough sleep, I was really tired, or I would just loosely say, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. I never knew what exhaustion was until now. I've never known pain in my life on such a deep level like I have known right now. But I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I just wanted to say that I've had a wonderful outpouring of love and support from my Disney family here, fellow YouTubers, and I won't say Disney community anymore because they have become my family. If you guys could only know the people that you invest in watching on a daily or weekly basis, the things that they have done for me, from gift cards to t-shirts to Jim Shore figurines to Loungefly backpacks, making sure my family is fed. I have had probably, oh my goodness, 9 or 10 care packages and just get well packages sent to me from fellow Disney YouTubers and friends here on YouTube, and I was absolutely overwhelmed that everyone came together to do such a beautiful, beautiful thing. I did film a video for them and unboxed all of those things for them, and I just kind of want to keep that private. It was pretty emotional actually, and some of the boxes that I actually received while I was going through treatment, and I was too sick to even film anything, so everyone just had to kind of rely on me sending a thank you. But if you guys are watching this, I want you to know how much I absolutely love you guys, and not a minute goes by that I don't see something in here that you guys have sent, or every time that my husband has gone to get groceries, how much that you guys have cared for our family through this crazy, crazy time that we did not expect to hit us like a freight train. The fact that you guys loved and cared about us so much and wanted to take the weight and carry the weight with me, I'll never be able to thank you enough, and I'll never be able to, like, repay any of that. So I just wanted those who didn't know to know the kind of community that you are a part of and that you invest in. So again, I just thank them so much. Everyone who has sent me something, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. The cards, just, oh my goodness, I've been so overwhelmed with the love sent my way. And I guess I'm going to end it here before I get winded and start coughing. But I just love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for listening to my story. Please make sure to check all of the links that I have below for you guys. Please get involved. Please tell someone that you love. Just spread the awareness as much as possible, not just in September, but all year long. Make sure you're thinking of each other, lift each other up, and because we never know. We never know when it's going to be us, and we're going to be the ones going through something this severe. So I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.